Hello from the north. Aho, Chamai, Kumastaka. Hope everyone's doing good tonight. Gonna do a little live stream, see how this goes. Anyone's welcome. Any topics you want to talk about in the chat, go ahead. I'm up here on the Kenai Peninsula in Eska. I've lived here for quite a long time now. Moved up here after high school, went fishing, fell in love with Alaska and could never leave. So I've been all over the state up here. I've done all kinds of different jobs, been east, west, north, and south in Alaska. See lots of amazing things, have lots of amazing fun, met really cool people, lived with tribes. It's been an absolutely beautiful experience in my life. Howdy, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Alaska's kind of getting built up. It's changing, becoming part of the modern world. Some growing pains with that. You can still get out into nature anytime you want, leave the city. Kind of the best of both worlds. Howdy, JF. Mercado. Really like Mercado Media's coverage. Subscribe to them. Really great folks over there. Great community. I'm just chilling at home in the cabin tonight with the dog. Relaxing a bit off the clock. Fought the snow a little bit today. Icy roads. Just beginning. Oh, so this time of year, I harvest chaga off the silver birch trees out in the mountains. It's a mushroom. Can't really tell that though. Kind of looks burnt and hard as a rock. This makes a really therapeutic tea that boosts your immunity. So it's great to sip on some tea in the winter. Mix some fireweed honey in it. Do lots of outdoorsy stuff. I'm a free diver. I spearfish up here. Gold pan. Hunt. Do a lot of foraging of wild berries, plants, and mushrooms. I like sharing all that with people, teaching people how to do it. It's a pretty amazing bounty we have up here. I heard a naturalist say one time, the forest is like a supermarket with Chinese signs, and if you don't know how to read the Chinese, then you don't know what to eat. So pretty much anywhere you're at, there's a lot of stuff out there that you've probably overlooked or didn't know you could use. But in case you ever need to use it, it's good to be able to survive and thrive and not go in lack. So you can stay out of lack just with a little bit of learning. Howdy, wrenches and repairs. So hope the audio is good. That's a red-bone Chesapeake hound dog. He was raised from a puppy on king salmon. And I used to be a machinist at a cannery. And he's over 18 now, still kicking. He's doing good. River's starting to ice up, so I haven't been doing too much prospecting lately. In the future, I'll be doing some more nature videos. I have a really lot of cool experiences with bears and moose. Seem to draw bears to me like a magnet, except for when I'm hunting for them. Yeah, the dog gets salmon, and then I give him like a dog food that's also made with some salmon and seaweed. So he's a tough one, Bruno. I raise emu up here too, and I'm doing an experimental farm, so I'm going across the world on the same latitude and looking for plants and fruits I can grow. And I keep adding for stuff out here. The list is kind of amazingly long. Um, Russian sea berry and haskap, nagoonberry, cloudberry, salmonberry, uh, Saskatoons, if I didn't mention that. Nice. So I keep adding stuff. I've got uh, more temperate stuff in the greenhouse, like black raspberry and pine berries and strawberry. Trying to make all my meals without having to go to a grocery store. That's the end goal. Yeah, winter prospecting's fun if you get a nice day. It can change so quick out here. I'll still go out. I found good gold between big chunks of ice. Just got to keep trying. There's some really neat places to see up here. If you've never been up, want to come up, people are amazing. Just be careful, just like you would anywhere else. Uh, Stuff can go missing if you leave it out or unattended. Um, Always be careful of bears. I think the only times I've had bad run-ins with bears is when I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to go 100 feet from the truck and check this creek out. And had a couple pop out of the bushes right next to me. Luckily, I kept my cool and didn't hoot and holler, but backed up slow and didn't make any sudden movements, and it went all right. Moose can be worse than bears. Try to get too close for your pictures. This year, I'll probably do a lot of snowshoeing, do some snowshoe hunting for grouse and snowshoe bunnies. That's a lot of fun in the winter. You got to stay active. It's the benefit of having a small place. Keeps me going outside and doing things in the outdoors, even if it's cold. Never know what you're going to run into out here. Homer and Anchor Point are pretty beautiful. Fishing's really good. I like to get off the beaten path and kind of avoid the touristy stuff. Uh, if you're going to go trekking off the beaten path, so to speak, I recommend getting Hunt Onyx or Onyx Trail. And, don't just rely on that because batteries can go dead. So have a compass and just pay attention to where you go. Um, have I gotten lost before and kind of panicked? Yes. Uh, because I tried to rely on Google Maps and it sent me the wrong way into the mountains and it got foggy and starting to run out of daylight. But I was able to look out and find my way back because I paid attention to the terrain features on my way out and was able to see a lake that I knew which way I needed to go back from. It's a, it's a beautiful, amazing place. Driven up the Hall Road almost to Dead Horse. Worked on fishing boats out in Bristol Bay, crabbing out in the Bering Sea, long lining out in the Bering Sea as far west as St. Matthew's Island. Rolled over in a boat out there before fishing. got thrown across the ceiling, taking the light fixtures off the ceiling with my back, and then thrown into the forepeak of the boat and bounced off ketchup jars and had crab pot lines wrapped around my ankle and dragging me to the back of the deck. My two deck mates were able to get it off my leg in time. Been chased by polar bears trying to work on well houses in a North Star Island by Dead Horse. Worked that between Milne Point and Kaparik. Seen walrus, whales. Can see lots of whales in the summer in Homer. You have porpoise, tons of otters, seal. I got rid of my snow machine because I scared myself a little bit messing around at a Turnagain Arm and drove over a crevasse. And then the next week after that, in kind of a blizzard, I hit a big ravine by Eureka, kind of south of Delta Junction. So now I just snowshoe. I kind of like that better. I get to see more. I might get a snow machine again someday. Cross country ski. That's a lot of fun. Like looking for relics and stuff. Kind of out in the bush. Got a cool relic last winter. Grab that. Found a abandoned listening station from the 60s, codenamed White Alice. This was a Cold War listening station to listen to the USSR, CCP, through buried cable arrays to pick up radio waves. So this was a really cool find, growing into an old tree. So saved that. I never get tired of exploring up here. There's just so much to see. You can never do it all. This is like a world within a world. Anything anyone wants to know about Alaska, just ask. Walrus meat's good. Tastes better than beef. My girlfriend's a Luktik, so I've learned a lot from her and her family too. I've lived out in some villages. I've lived in Coconut for a couple weeks, and also on False Pass, which is the first Aleutian island, Unimak. It's really diverse up here. I think once people get up here and actually see the diversity in people and cultures, it just kind of is overwhelming. I picked up a little Tagalog up here, some Polish, some Czech, some Russian, a little bit of Samoan. So, neat people, neat place. Looking through the comments here. Yeah, it's definitely a good life up here. People on church missions out here, I've met quite a few. There's a lot of different religions, so kind of respectful of all religions. Been learning more about the Russian Orthodox Church. But that being said, the Russian community by me, we support Ukraine. We support ending the Russian aggression against Ukraine. It's pretty much one-sidedly Putin. I've worked with lots of Russian people over the years and lots of Ukrainian people, Moldovians, Estonians, Czechs, Slovaks. Um, we've had lots of time to go hiking together. And we had barbecues. We cooked shashi, drink slivovica, listen to music, go out to the mountains, show them nature, show them the fish, taking them fishing. We all got along as family. So I know if the right person was to come along and take over the reins of Russia, it could bring that back and what it used to be. Um, Life's too short to have enemies. Uh, Sometimes I heard a good Russian Orthodox priest uh, say you need to be dead to the world, dead to the negativity of the world. Um, and that's how you find the beauty in the world. You focus on the beauty and you focus on fostering and nurturing that beauty. You spread love by giving love. And I think that can change a lot. The future generations deserve to have a world filled with love and peace. So this world isn't about material things or being famous or having lots of money. It's about the metamorphosis from the physical man to the spirit man. And we all need to see each other as spirit men, spirit beings. It's the same belief my Viking ancestors had. Odin, All Father, bless us all. Uh, my native blood, believe the Great Spirit is watching over everyone, and He's there for you when you need Him. Just turn and ask for help. Times are kind of rough for people lately, so reach out to people you haven't thought of in a long time, and let them know you care about them. Just send them a little message of love. Can't hurt. Just takes a second. Goes a long ways. Hopefully they catch the bug and they start spreading love too. Homer and Anchor Point places to see. Anchor Point Beach, campground there. It's really pretty. You can walk for miles on the beach. There's some areas you have to be careful of the tides, so pay attention to that. Have a tide book. They can have up to like 27 feet of tidal shift here. Uh, you don't want to get trapped on a sandbar, have water come in behind you that's too deep to pass. So ask locals. And, usually all the information's online too. Homer Spit's pretty. Come see Jason Davis at Sweet Gal Mead Works on Main Street in Homer. Has a lot of meads made from wild berries. Pretty amazing man. Electricity is expensive up here. Try to use little energy as possible. Uh, Buckminster Fuller said, "Waste is a sin," so don't waste. Uh, Try to keep the temperature, the heat down here in the house. Conserve on energy. You try to make up for all that stuff with lots of insulation. Just to make sure everything's set up for the winter. This winter lasts a long time. I'm 49 in the 49th state, so I don't feel like it though. I still feel like a kid. I think it's all the salmon and diving. I try to stay really active. Um, I put lots of miles on my feet and trails. Pretty much what I wear for footwear up here is either extra toughs or combat boots. Just love being out in the woods. Um, yeah, I'm hard on footwear. So if you got outdoor gear you want me to test, if anyone can wreck it, I can. God knows how many miles I put on my boots moose hunting this year. Had some good run-ins with moose, but just a little bit too small. So trying to tell a 49-inch moose from a 50-inch moose make you go cross-eyed. Missed my only chance at a bear as it was running away. And so never get in a hurry with hunting. Take bad shots. That's a spirit too. Try to be respectful to wildlife. Just because you're hunting something doesn't mean it's an animate object. It's a living soul. It absolutely has a spirit. Pay it respect. Take a moment to sit there with it. Thank the Creator for making it and for feeding you and for its sacrifice. Same thing with nature. If you treat nature with respect, nature will take care of you. So when you go berry picking or fishing, don't leave trash. And, try not to damage things any more than you have to get what you need. It's an amazing bounty up here. Try to get some pay dirt lined out here and go get some from my spot. I'll do a sit down in here with a pan and go through that. Show some prospecting. Do some more talks about Alaskana. Lots of work up here, probably just like everywhere else. This is a really good place to start up. A lot of people are going through hard times, and so what I did to get my first piece of land is I worked out at sea, and everything I came up here with I had on my back in a backpack. First night in Alaska, I got here too late because of a delayed flight, and didn't have any money, so I slept next to the Alaska Railroad station down in Anchorage, and luckily didn't get messed with by a bear. Took the railroad down to Seward, was just mesmerized. Absolutely recommend the Alaska Railroad. I think everyone should do it once, especially from Anchorage to Seward, going through the mountains and the gorges and next to the waterfalls, and it's absolutely amazing. Worked down there as a cannery machinist for several years, quite a lot of years, and then in the winters I go out to sea out west and go work on the boats. Uh, Buddy Tom got me on one of the boats, and then I ended up getting on another one, and just really love that. It's hard work, but if you're willing to listen and you can stand getting yelled at by a captain without getting mad, the world's your oyster up here, and you can go far. So you make a good hand, and there's always someone willing to take you on. And, people are happy to teach up here how to do stuff. Howdy, Whipple. Yep, doing well. Bit windy down here today, but not inside, so it should be nicer out tomorrow. Get out and do something. Oh, about 60 knots. So this morning while I was working, so I had to stop working and go grab a loader and help the police get a bunch of sheet metal that was blowing across the spit. Brought the loader up there and got that on it with a big log that I laid across the top. Yeah, it was kind of like flying razor blades in the wind there for a while. So luckily no one got hurt. We got it all weighted down. I do some ETT. I've taken that class. I started off taking a wilderness first responder, and then moved up. Alaska has emergency trauma tech, and I just thought it'd be handy to have in case I run into any car accidents. You can be a good ways away from a hospital up here, pretty easy. Helped people in a lot of sad situations. It's just really good to be able to help people when they need. And this time of year, especially in November, we get a lot of windstorms. 60 isn't really that uncommon at all, 60 knots. I've seen like 97 knots down here before. You get some pretty nasty storms. Pacific gets angry. I'm right on Cook Inlet. I can look out my window and see Augustine Volcano and Mount Iliamna. Did caretaking across the bay over there. That's a pretty amazing spot, but there is a lot of bears. So you have to be really careful if you want to go over there. Been to Iliamna Lake, but I didn't see the sea monster. Like going up to Fairbanks, that's a pretty drive. Denali Park. It's just amazing. It's like every direction you look up here, it kind of gets old. It's like, oh man, it's an amazing view. I was like, well, you can turn 360 all day for the rest of your life up here, and everywhere you look is amazing. Oh, Whipple Creek, I'm the emu guy, so I might have been on Alaska Public Media with the emu. I fought Alaska Fish and Game to get emu legalized up here in Alaska. I raised them. I came up with my own system to keep them warm. I made a geodesic aircrete coated dome, so it doesn't even need heat in the winter. Always stays like 40 degrees. Insulated it with a bunch of compost, grass. Yeah, kind of fun. It's a food security experiment that I'm doing. Some of the food we get up here is kind of like you wonder if it was the food that got rejected from everywhere else. They put it in a container and just said, send it up to Alaska. It's too far for them to send it back. So trying to teach people how to garden and raise things that they can raise quickly for meat, food. Saving some indigenous crops. I've been growing Tlingit potatoes from the Tlingit tribe for the last few years and spreading that seed out and giving it to people so they can get it going. Really cool network of people up here on Facebook that farm. So we kind of all talk with each other and come up with new experiments and share ideas. Go visit each other's farms and try some of the produce each other has grown. I do honeybees too. So, guineas and turkeys and chickens. Like to try raising a couple Iranian camels. So if anyone has any of those sitting around their yard they don't want, I'll take them. Emu's pretty good. I'm kind of raising them to more sell the eggs and chicks. So I sold a couple chicks this spring that I hatched, and people are really liking having those. They're at a place that does tours, and so lots of people get to see and interact with them. They do really good up here. I'm on Facebook too. Facebook is Lenska Landum Shannon Farm. You'll see my pic on there. Try to share some stuff on there too. But a lot of my free diving videos are on here, and prospecting, a little bit of hunting, but I'll do some more next year. I killed my camera, and it was a pretty busy summer. Built a bee house for my honeybees out of logs. The chainsaw mill out of old beetle killed spruce trees. So where's everybody from? Hey, Zaxon. Good to see you. Just doing some Alaska chat here. Kind of telling a little bit about the state. Answering any questions anyone has. Right on. Well, I got warmer weather than me. I think it's about 18 degrees Fahrenheit here tonight. Had to work in the morning with my studded tires to get the docks ready for the state ferry in case they need to use it this weekend. Cold. I've worked on the slope. So without wind chill, I had my ice freeze shut at minus 57. With the wind chill, geez, minus 73 Fahrenheit. So luckily I was able to find the tool trailer by Braille and get back in there and get my eyes unfrozen. When you're in that kind of extreme, you got to have the right gear. A lot of boots are not going to take, minus 57 degrees. They're just going to shatter like glass on your feet. So it's really important to have the right gear, have a heat exchanger. It's kind of like a neoprene mask. Let's see if I got one here to show you that. I don't know what I did with it at the moment, so show that next time. But it's basically a mask made out of neoprene that goes around your face, and it has a piece that sticks out a ways, and then it has another flap. So there's an air space in there to preheat your air, because when you're breathing that cold air, it just sucks the moisture out of your lungs, and you can actually freeze your lungs if you're not careful. Yeah, if you tried to wear extra tough boot up on the slope, as soon as you stepped outside, the thing would just shatter like an egg right off your foot. So you're going to be in that kind of cold, you need the right gear. Danner makes some good boots for the slope. Clothes for Fairbanks winters. Wear lots of wool. For winter, I like to wear camel wool socks. I order mine off Etsy. They stay dry. They don't get all clammy like regular wool does. So I use those pretty much all year long. They're just so comfortable and warm. If I didn't have camel wool socks, Angora rabbit, and cold weather long underwear for sure. Um, Wool works really good, or fleece, and a good set of wind blocking pants, coats and stuff. You don't have to get too crazy. I work outside most of the day, and I just wear some ECW gear. Uh, ECW, a micro wool shirt, sweater over that. Um, Favorite brands. You don't have to get too fancy. Really, it's more about the materials. So, any good Gore-Tex shell for a coat and pants. You want moisture wicking stuff. Cotton will kill you. Don't wear cotton underwear. Don't wear cotton socks. Uh, no cotton t-shirts, because once that sweat builds up on the cotton, it doesn't dry out, and can give you some real bad problems. So always micro wool, something that wicks over that. There's some really good new military gear. Any of that extreme cold weather system, it usually has a undershirt, extreme cold weather, long underwear, top, socks, a vest, and then a fleece vest you can add. You don't want to sweat, so you kind of have to tailor. There's really no like easy answer for winter gear, because you have to custom tailor it to what works for your body type and your body physiology. I've been through underwater airframe survival training, underwater helicopter crash training, egress, Arctic survival. Really, if you're in a bind, the warmest pair of boots I ever made was what I cut out of the inside of a junk car and wrapped around my feet with wiring I ripped out of the car. And if you got in a bind, garbage bag wrapped around your body, fill it with pine needles, tie it at the bottom, top, and there's a lot of ways you can survive. I recommend knowing, if you lost your gear, uh, what you do. For the training, they had a pair of dice, and we roll the dice and see how much gear we'd lose, and whatever we lost, whether it was boot or pants or shirt, and we had to improvise and make it out of scraps that we found if we were like in a airplane crash. So we had a seat that we could cut apart and use that. Had some pieces of carpeting off the floor, and a garbage bag. You make do with what you have when you need to make do. But mountain gear has some good stuff. Snowboarding pants, those are always good for the winter. If you're going to do some snowshoeing, have some gaiters. Have backup packs, socks, and long underwear and shirts and stuff in your pack. And, when I'm out snowshoeing and hunting out in the woods, if I start to sweat, I stop. If I don't stop sweating fast enough when I stop, drop a layer. I open your pit zips. Coats with pit zips are really handy, or your shell. You don't need to buy a thick coat. It's actually kind of pointless to buy a super thick parka. What you want is a thin Gore-Tex shell, and you want enough different systems of layering that you can dress up or down as you need to stay warm but not sweat. Good boots. Put lots of wax on your boots. Try to keep them waterproof. Yeah, you can be comfortable in the winter. Used to work out on the in the oil houses, 16, 18-hour days. Gear makes all the difference. Fairbanks is nice. I love it up there. I went up last winter for the Chattanooga River whitefish spear fishery. Didn't get any, but it was still beautiful. I'd go again. Boots, Danner makes what they call dry ice. That'd be really good for Fairbanks because the sole gets grippier the colder it is and grips really good to glare ice. Yeah. BP, when I worked up on the slope, actually bought us those. Yeah, anyone gets up this way, I'm out by Anchor Point. So happy to show people Alaska, and you can go out gold panning or fishing. I like to do a lot of foraging for mushrooms too. Go out after morels and king boletes, chicken of the woods, bear's tooth, ooh, oyster mushrooms, hawk's wings. Yeah, I got my dome is pretty incognito. It'd be a great bush shelter. Yeah, aircrete's all composted, so it's even hard to tell anything's there. I haven't been to New Hampshire, but I have friends down there and look pretty. Salmon fishing's really good up here. Always stock my freezer with tons of salmon. Kind of spoiled with that. I'll go spearfish silver salmon offshore. And then out here, I'm allowed to set a set net. It's a gill net. So I have like a few weeks where I can gill net in the fall to get my silvers that way. And just swim it out from shore and sit and watch my net and just use my wetsuit and swim out and pick fish. A lot of fun. Kind of cool having all you guys visit tonight. I didn't know how many people were going to stop out. Really appreciate it. Look, make sure I'm subscribed to y'all's channels. Uh, yeah, I recommend coming up here for anyone. It's definitely worth checking out. Right on. Appreciate you, Whipple. I'll try to do this from time to time. I don't know if I'll get an official time slot where I'll pop these up. Had some time hanging out tonight. It's good to hear from all these people. So, right on. Good night. We'll see you next time, Whipple. Hope you get some gold down there. So I think for the next time I'll have some more show and tell stuff out. And, feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments, stuff you'd like to see or hear about. One thing close to Homer down here that'd be interest to see, I guess. Just kind of got thinking about it. Is the only town in the North America that was actually chased away by Bigfoot, the hairy man, as it's known up here, a hula hook. So Port Graham. Knew some elder from there. Talked to me about seeing the hairy man. I've seen weird stuff out in the woods. Do they exist? Can't comment on that. If I knew where they existed, I won't comment on that either, but I'll leave that part at that. There's just a whole lot more to the world than people may know. Lots of eagles to see if you're out here. Kind of known for that on the spit. I think most of the eagle pictures on the internet are probably from Homer. Every once in a while, I see the falcons and snowy owls. I have an eagle that nests right on the edge of my yard. Right on, I'll check that out. StreamYard. Not familiar with it, but take a look at it. Kind of in the zone here, so sometimes it gets a little bit spotty on the internet. The Discovery shows up here are so like ridiculous, and yes, I try to make it a point to harass the Kilchers as much as humanly possible at Rydell's and the oh my god, the Alaska Bush people. Oh, for F's sakes. Yeah. So, man, I don't know what I'm going to do if I can't catch, the last halibut before freeze up. Oh, man. Yeah, we got those shows. Actually, ran into Mark Zuckerberg walking down the floats one morning. I'm trying to fix Facebook in a socially responsible way. So I actually invited some Facebook programmers to come up here from Menlo Park. And they showed up, took them out into nature. They had an absolutely amazing time. I think they were like shocked and were just amazed that someone, would take them out and show them all this stuff and tell them where to visit. And they had an absolutely amazing time. So they're permanent friends now. A couple of programmers. Yeah, so there's another example of, people that don't know that are willing to go learn from people that they never thought they'd associate with, find that they have more in common than they ever thought possible. So I really enjoy that. Like to try to get some inner city kids up here to visit, families, teach them about the outdoors. So the more people we get interested in the outdoors and nature and prospecting, then the more our resource is protected and used responsibly so it can be used by future generations. Because everything here, all we're doing Our homes, everything we do is going to get passed on sooner or later. Nothing's ours for keeps. We're just holding on to it for kind of a short time. Yeah, I get a lot of Homer seems to get a lot of the Discovery Channel stuff. So I've been approached before by people associated with a loan and Discovery Channel and Alaska Life and Bush People, Homestead Rescue. Yeah, Zaxxon, I think I've chatted with Thomas 907 before. Gosh, I think he's up in Fairbanks, if I believe right. What was that? The British show, like Top Gear. They came out onto the spit and dropped a car off a helicopter onto a shed. I'm not sure what that was all about, but I guess makes for good TV. This year, I'll try to get out and show some real bush people stuff. Um, yeah, a lot of that stuff is scripted, and a lot of them aren't Alaskans. We're probably just sullied on the Rydell thing because her dad was one that was kind of against me in my fight to legalize emu. And, just seemed to not be much for the people. Just leave it at that. Allegedly. I have a buddy that might be on a loan here before too long. He's legit. So if that should happen for him, I'll definitely throw his name out here. But he's a guide and works on a charter boat and a good person too. So I definitely support him if he ends up being on the show. So if you're from a loan or a producer for a loan, definitely put the dude out in Homer on your show. He's not pretend. He's legit. Yeah, I've used to go see the Kilters sing. There are a lot of good musicians in her family. Uh, I know most of them, I think. So, not to take too much from that show, I just like to give them some grief, just out of fun. Yeah, they're good people. In Alaska, we still talk crap about good people just for fun. So I'm sure any of them people, they'd be definitely the kind of people in your time of need that would stop and give you a hand. Absolutely, no doubt about that. Gosh, I think I seen Jewel here once. Alaska's an interesting place, and been to a George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic concert up here. Uh, Fred Zeppelin. Oh, some more obscure ones. Lots of good local music. Any of the bars, I kind of stopped going to the bars because fishermen, we forget it's not water and can't stop drinking the stuff and end up in precarious situations. So, yeah, I gave up the drinking. Okay, I was trying to keep up with a couple girls from Minnesota at the Pit Bar in Seward and kind of lost count after drink, I don't know, 50 something and woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 miles down the side of a salmon stream, face down, passed out in the rocks. And I think that was my call to Jesus moment. Like, you didn't get eaten by a bear this time. Where the F am I? And found my way back home because I remembered like the streams flow towards the water, towards the ocean. So thank God for common sense. Lucky to have made it out of that one. When I was crab fishing, us scurvy crew would get off that crab boat and we were mighty thirsty and been to the Elbow Room bar, kind of notorious fist fighting bars of Alaska of the old times. Almost got in a scrap with Jonathan Hillstrand at the Elbow Room back when I was a young buck. Unice Bar, that's another den of depravity. It's kind of like being immersed into a pit of baby snakes. King Cove Bar, Sandpoint. I think I've pretty much hit every single bar up and down the chain back when I was a wild man. So I'm a tame farmer now, so to speak, I guess. Maybe just wild man without the drinking. And the bars really were that wild out there. And it just, you know, and you got a bunch of crab fishermen that get off the boat. They got 24, 30 something $1,000 in cash in their pocket. Uh, the bars had bells and people would be ringing the bell all night. So even if you didn't have any cash on you, you'd have more drinks than you could possibly drink just walking in the place on the payday. So you could always tell where the one lady in town was at because you'd see a group of about 100 guys kind of milling around like pigeons on some breadcrumbs. If you're a lady, you don't get much attention, come to Alaska. They'll fix that for you. Won't be a problem. Yeah, that boy, if you can do it, you got the time. Get on a boat and do the Aleutian chain. So it's really like a, and it's just so amazing. And I've seen volcanoes at night. We were all engineers on the crab boat, so we all take turns doing wheel watch. So I'd be out running the boat with the captain slot, 25-foot seas, trying to stay on course. Um, see volcanoes out on the islands erupting into the ocean, whales, walrus. The people on the islands are really neat. It's kind of funny. You go get a dinner in one of the villages on one of the islands, and it's nothing but four wheelers, no cars. Doesn't matter what four wheeler you got. It's a Honda. Everybody drives Hondas. It doesn't matter if it's a Yamaha. It's still a Honda. So the chain belongs to Honda. The smallest village I've lived in up here was Falls Pass. It was like 56 people for a year-round population and like 150 seasonal. I did a chief engineer on a boat out there, running refrigeration. Did a lot of hiking out there. The foxes would come right up to me, ptarmigan. Fortunately, the bears too. Right on. Thanks, Zaxxon, for coming out. Good to see you. Yeah, not much else going on. Um, yeah, in the comments, leave me some topics you want to know about, some stories you want to hear about. Got a lot of cool stories. Some, I got some stories about prospecting. I got a really cool prospecting story about two brothers that ended up killing each other out in the mountains over gold. And this is an actual legit story back in the olden days. Um, might even try to do a trip out and actually find the stone cabin out in the mountains that they built. Um, this will be a tough one, and it's going to be something that I'm not going to be able to share with anyone else how to get out there if I end up going. Need a couple savvy mountaineers to go out there with me. It's in some pretty legit scary country. Probably won't be on too much longer tonight. Gotta do chores yet. The reason I wouldn't probably share where to get to that is like the misfortune of the brothers and some some indigenous elders are going to tell me how to get there. So out of respect for them, I'm not going to share their spot. Could be cold out there. I don't even think I'd take it. But that dead man's gold been paid for in their blood, so I'd probably just leave it sit. If I do find a place, I got a pretty good idea where it's at. So getting there is going to be a pretty epic journey. We'll see if that pans out for this summer. If nothing else, I might do a flyover, see if I can get some close aerial pictures of the area. My buddy got his pilot's license. He's been at it pretty hard. Oh, yeah, more stories for next time. My social media is this Lenska Landum Shannon Farm on Facebook. And I could find it on probably Google Earth, but I kind of looking for something very specific, like some sharp stone corners. So this had been a cabin above tree line, so it would have only had some small stick and stone roof, sticks that would have been carried up from the river bottom, and then a rock roof placed over that, most likely some slate. So it's going to be kind of tricky to find this place. I'm just going to have to look for like 90-degree angles out of stone that are out of the ordinary. And it's not going to be very big. So yeah, leave me suggestions, and I think I'll call it a night for now. Still got to do some chores, and I got an early morning. Yep, definitely I'll go live again and try to post a little bit further ahead of time for next time. And thank y'all for coming out. It's awesome talking to y'all. God bless. Have a good night. We'll see you soon.